Most people wake up already behind, chasing time, chasing noise, chasing approval, and they don't even realize it. The monks of Shaolin begin differently. Before the first word is spoken, before the first movement is made, they return to stillness. Here's what few understand. The first moments after waking are sacred. They are not casual. They are not neutral. They set the tone for everything that follows. The way you take your first breath, the way your mind meets the silence, this is where real training begins. This isn't about routines for productivity or self-help hacks. This is ancient discipline practiced for centuries by those who understood that if your mind is scattered at sunrise, it will be scattered at sunset. In this video, I will guide you through the morning rituals of the Shaolin path. Not just physical habits, but deep internal practices that sharpen the spirit, purify the mind, and awaken discipline. You will learn why Shaolin monks splash cold water on their faces before the sun rises. Why we begin each day with stillness, not to freeze, but to confront the mind's chaos. Why one breath done with full presence can become the start of real transformation. These are not theories, they are tools, sharpened by time, forged through hardship, and still alive in our monastery today. Stay with me until the end, because the final practice I will share is the one most people skip, and that's why they remain lost in repetition. You are watching Shaolin Soulfire. If you seek mastery instead of comfort, subscribe to this channel. Now we begin. Most people breathe only to survive, but monks, we breathe to wake the spirit. In the temple, before the day begins, before voices rise or footsteps echo, there is breath, not rushed, not shallow, but intentional, like each inhale is a thread tying the mind back to the body. It is said that how you breathe is how you live. If your breath is scattered, your thoughts will follow. If your breath is tense, so will be your decisions. But if your breath is steady, then even in chaos you are unmoved. We do not breathe like this to look peaceful. We do it to become peaceful. Stand or sit with your spine upright, not stiff but awake. You are not a machine. You are a living, sensing, aware being. Let the body reflect that. Place both feet flat, hands relaxed. Inhale deeply through your nose. Let it rise from your belly, not your chest. Feel the breath expand you, lengthen you, soften you. Then exhale slowly through the mouth, as if letting go of something that no longer belongs. 10 breaths like this, not more, not less, and not rushed. You will feel the nervous system respond like a river settling after a storm. The heart slows, the muscles release, the thoughts grow quieter. Not because you forced them, but because you gave them space to land. In Shaolin, breathwork is not a side practice, it is the foundation. Before you can master a form, you must master stillness. Before you speak, you must master silence. And before you can lead others, you must learn to lead your breath. 10 breaths, that is all. But done with attention, it can bring you back to yourself. In the early morning silence of the temple, there are no mirrors, no loud chants of self-love, no forced smiles in front of a camera. There's only presence and principle. Shaolin monks do not speak to themselves in sugary affirmations, not because they reject positivity, but because they understand something deeper. Truth carries more weight than empty praise. They don't tell themselves, I am enough. They remind themselves, the mind follows the breath, the body follows the mind. It's not meant to sound beautiful, it's meant to anchor. When a monk repeats this, it's not to feel good, it's to remember what is real. That control begins with awareness, that if the breath is scattered, the mind will wander. And if the mind is weak, the body becomes unfocused. This is not theory. It is tested every day in practice, in hardship, in stillness. Western minds often seek motivation through hype, loud music, powerful slogans. But when the noise fades, what remains? Shaolin teaches, speak only what can hold you in the storm. Principles are not emotional, they are foundational. They do not excite you, they ground you. A grounded principle is like a compass. You don't need to believe in it for it to work, you just follow it. And slowly your discipline sharpens, your inner world calms, and your body begins to obey a deeper rhythm, not the rhythm of fear or impulse, but the rhythm of mastery. So when you rise in the morning, don't rush to say something nice to yourself, say something true. Remind yourself what governs what, breath governs mind, mind governs action, and through that, the path appears, not in noise but in clarity. There is something sacred about the moment cold water touches your skin before sunrise. It doesn't just wake the body, it wakes the will. In Shaolin tradition, cold water is not punishment, it's not a test of toughness, it's a choice, a quiet declaration that comfort will not control you today. When a monk steps into that water, he is not trying to suffer. He is reminding the body who leads. The body, if left unchecked, seeks warmth, ease, and repetition. It resists change. It resists challenge. But the path of mastery is not built on what feels good. It is built on what makes you strong. So the code is used not as a weapon, but as a mirror. It shows you your reflex. Do you flinch? Do you flee? Or do you breathe and move through it with presence? This is why the day begins here. Before the distractions come, before decisions must be made, before emotion colors everything. In that one code moment, you are either servant or master. You either lead the body or follow it. And when the shock fades, something else emerges. Clarity. You feel your senses sharpen, your breath deepen, your posture straighten. It's not because of the code itself, but because you've already overcome something small. And that small victory becomes the first building block of the day. So it's not about cold water, it's about the message behind it. I do not wait to feel ready. I act, I choose. That's the beginning of discipline. Not in grand gestures, but in moments like this where the choice is simple and the meaning runs deep. In Shaolin practice, the body is not just flesh and bone, it is memory. Every emotion not fully processed settles somewhere inside. The chest tightens, the hips grow heavy, the shoulders curl inward. This is why we move first thing in the morning, not to burn calories, but to clear what yesterday left behind. Before the chants begin, before the first lesson, monks move slowly, deliberately. A gentle stretch, a deep squat, a flowing motion from one stance to another. It looks simple from the outside, but inside something deeper is shifting. Old tension is released. The breath syncs with the body. The mind begins to follow. This is not exercise. It's a kind of cleansing, like sweeping a floor before sitting down to meditate. If the body is stagnant, the mind becomes foggy. Decisions feel heavy. Words don't land properly. But when the energy flows, thoughts clarify. Posture aligns, presence returns. In the West, movement is often treated as a punishment for the body, something you do to force results. But Shaolin teaches movement as respect, as ritual, as a way to ask the body, what are you still holding that I need to release? Just 5 minutes, that's all it takes. No need for intensity, no need for perfection, just awareness, just breath, just motion. And with each small shift, the inner world becomes lighter. What begins as a stretch becomes a statement. I do not carry what I no longer need. That is mastery. Not how strong your body is, but how free it becomes. Movement, when done like this, is no longer a task. It becomes a prayer, a quiet, powerful return to self. There's a moment in Shaolin training when everything becomes still. No punches, no kicks, no movement at all. Just the body, grounded in horse stance, and the mind held in place by the flame of a single candle. At first it feels simple, just stand, just look, but very quickly the truth reveals itself. The legs start to shake, the eyes want to wander, thoughts begin their usual dance. You remember things you forgot, you itch, you doubt, and that's exactly why we do it. This is the training most overlooked, the training of stillness. In that quiet posture, a deeper battle takes place. Not against others, but against the endless habit of leaving yourself. Every time the mind drifts and you bring it back, you're reshaping something inside. Not violently, not with force, but with steady presence. Over time, your mind begins to listen, it begins to follow. This is what most people never practice. Command, not control through tension, but through awareness. You learn to stay without needing stimulation, without needing escape. The candle flame does not move, but it teaches. It reflects your restlessness. It humbles your attention. Some days holding still feels impossible. Other days it feels like returning home. But both are valuable because the purpose isn't perfection. The purpose is discipline. Each moment you stay rooted, when the mind wants to flee, you become stronger. Not louder, not faster, just more centered. In a world addicted to movement and noise, the ability to be still is a rare power. Shaolin monks cultivate it not to look calm, but to be unshakable. That's how you train the mind to serve you, by refusing to chase distraction, by standing your ground, even when no one else is watching. In the quiet hours before sunrise, when the world is still asleep, a monk does not ask, what do I need to achieve today? Instead he asks, who must I become today? There is no list, no metrics, no chase for productivity, only one word, chosen with care, spoken inwardly with presence, stillness, strength, clarity, compassion. a single word that carries weight, not just for the morning, but for every step that follows. This word becomes the compass, not a rigid plan, but a direction. It informs how you walk, how you speak, how you respond to challenge. If the word is stillness, then even in chaos, you remember to breathe. If it is strength, you carry yourself with quiet resolve, not force but steadiness. If it is clarity, you don't rush decisions. You wait until the mind clears, like water after a stone is dropped. Western thinking often begins with goals, deadlines, outcomes, accomplishments. But the Shaolin path is built on identity. Not what will I do today, but how will I move through it. This shift changes everything. You stop measuring your worth by tasks. You begin measuring it by presence. And the word you choose isn't just random. It reflects your current path. One day you may need more patience, another day more courage. The word becomes a mirror, a small reminder of what you're cultivating, one sunrise at a time. This practice may seem simple, even passive, but over time it reshapes your entire rhythm. Because when your inner world has direction, your outer world follows. You stop chasing the day. You begin guiding it with intention, with awareness, and with a single word that holds your center. Each morning, the monk begins again. Not because he failed the day before, but because wisdom is not something you carry like a bag. It's something you return to moment by moment. Mindfulness, in its truest form, is the art of release. It is the choice to wake up and cut ties to what is no longer here. The dream that lingered, the argument that echoed, the memory that pulled at the heart. All of it is smoke, real only if you hold on to it. Even monks feel the grip of emotion. Even masters are visited by old thoughts. But the difference is, they don't invite them to stay. They observe, they bow inwardly, and they let go. Before the body begins to move, the breath becomes a broom, a gentle sweep through the corners of the mind. Regret, exhale. Fear, exhale. That strange feeling that followed you from sleep, exhale. This is how the mind is cleansed, not by force, not by denial, but by choosing not to carry what isn't needed. And it must be done every day, because the dust of the world settles silently. You don't always notice it until your thoughts feel heavy and your spirit starts to drag. Letting go is not forgetting. It's honoring the truth of impermanence, that whatever was said, felt, or dreamed belongs to yesterday, and today deserves your full presence, fresh, empty, unburdened. This is the deeper meaning of discipline, not just showing up, but arriving without the weight of what you cannot change. And that takes practice, silent, invisible practice. But over time, it becomes freedom, not because your life becomes easier, but because your mind no longer clings to what isn't real. In the Shaolin Temple, strength is not measured by how much you can take. It's measured by how much you can give without needing recognition. The path is not about becoming powerful for yourself. It's about becoming useful to others. Each day begins not with ambition, but with intention. Who can I serve today, even if they never know? This might be a word spoken with patience, a task done without complaint, a moment of silence offered when someone needs space. It's not loud, it's not grand, but it purifies something inside, because the ego, left unchecked, always asks, what's in it for me? Service asks, what can I offer? The shift is subtle but life-changing. In Shaolin practice, every movement, every breath, every repetition, though personal, is meant to strengthen the vessel so it can give more, not hoard more. The body is trained not for vanity, but for contribution. The mind is disciplined not to control others, but to uplift them without force. A servant's mindset doesn't mean weakness. It means your power is no longer trapped in the self. It flows outward, freely, quietly, and because you're not seeking praise, you're unshaken by absence of it. This kind of intention sharpens the spirit. It removes the noise of comparison, the hunger for validation, the constant loop of self-concern. You become lighter, not because life is easier, but because your purpose is clearer. To ask each morning, how can I lift someone today, is not a small question, it is a sacred one. And the answer doesn't need to be spoken. It is lived in the way you carry yourself, in the way you listen, in the way you act when no one is watching. This is quiet service, and it is the true strength of a Shaolin heart. The way you begin your morning is not just a routine, it's a statement, a quiet vow to lead the mind, not follow it, to choose presence over noise, intention over impulse. Even if you only take a few of these practices into your day, breathing with awareness, moving with purpose, letting go of yesterday, you'll start to feel the shift. You'll notice your reactions soften, your decisions sharpen, the day no longer drags you. You walk through it with quiet command. This is the essence of the Shaolin path, not perfection, not performance, but presence. One breath, one word, one step at a time. Let these small rituals become your anchor. Let them shape not just how you start the day, but who you become through it. If this teaching brought clarity to your path, support us by liking this video and subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire. We walk together, calm, clear, and awake.